OtherRealm Studio, and we are going to be picking up where we left off last time with drawing the creek that's on Deerland. I still haven't got my reference pictures for the piebald deer, but I expect I should be able to come up with that probably for next time. I'm going to see how close I can get to done with or how close to finished I can get. I mean, goodness. I am still very tired. So yeah, I'm going to see how close I can get to being finished with the scene of the creek on Deerland. Let me pull this down so that you can see my reference picture. And so I have a few, like, not clip art, but assets put in the back of grass and leaves to fill in the spots with a little bit of texture before I paint over them officially. Um, but I do really like the almost abstract uh, leaves here that I painted in using the droplets tool. So I think I'll leave them like that. And let's see what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be filling in all these little blue spots where you see the background gradient and tidying up a little bit on the trees. And if we have time, I'll be adding another layer and putting in the reflective surface of the water. So this is, I think, my 7th stream on this series. So let me hit the background music, which my mic picks up mostly. So I have it turned way down on the desktop audio, and I have the mic turned all the way up. And we're going to see how that does with the sound quality. Pretty much I am learning as I go. But that's kind of the permanent state of things anyway. Alright, so you see we've got a little bit of discrepancy between the edge of the wood and the background showing through some. So I do try not to zoom in so much, but sometimes there's nothing that can be done for that. The blue really is that obvious. Alright, let's go back to the default color set and sketch in this tree again. Okay. Let's see. So if you've only just come across this art stream, let me tell you a little bit about what I'm doing here. This is a project that I'm undertaking um, in honor of my sister's work with Magnolia Fawn Rescue, which is the wildlife rescue organization that she runs. It's pretty much mostly her. Kind of like OtherRealm Studio is, yeah, pretty much is mostly me. Um, and what she does is she goes all over upstate South Carolina and rescues orphaned and injured fawn. So she's pretty much the one to call. There are a few other rescues, but not nearly enough. And so every year now she's been handling close to 100 deer or more. Um, the aim is always to rescue, rehabilitate, and release these these fawn. If they can't be reunited with their mother, then they'll have to come in to Magnolia Fawn Rescue, and uh, Connie will treat their injuries, treat them for dehydration, um, and various other things. And she will do everything she can to make sure that they survive and thrive, but also so that they don't imprint on people. And that's one of the biggest, most important things about this process is that you can't allow the deer to imprint on people. So there's a lot of people who are trying to do a good thing and they're doing their best, um, but they don't realize how easy it is um, when you're taking all this care to just get the deer to live. Um, you accidentally end up spending too much time with it and it imprints on you. And from then on, it's going to look to humans to keep it fed and cared for instead of joining a herd of wild deer when it grows up. So then you have a nuisance deer. And it's really difficult to do because, for one thing, deer are extremely, or fawn especially, when they're, whoa, what did I do here? Okay. No. I have done something. I did something with a pen stroke, and now I have a separate instance. Okay, what did I do? Um, how do I solve this? Okay, one of the great things about Clip Studio Paint is that you can rearrange the screen any way you want. Unfortunately, wait, okay, here we go. Unfortunately, sometimes when you're drawing, you can accidentally rearrange the screen in a way that you did not want. Well, whoops. Okay, I think I have it set up right now. I have no idea where my train of thought was or is currently. Hmm. Okay, so I got this part of this tree branch. Tree branches are cool. They add local color and authenticity to the painting, even if it is driving me a little bit mad trying to get it down here accurately. Okay, let's get back to what I was doing. So, um, Connie has the training and the expertise and the years of experience now in taking care of these orphan fawn and treating their injuries. And she even has a sanctuary for uh, deer that end up to where they can't be released. So they don't just get turned out to be hunted later. Um, she has land that there's no hunting allowed on that she releases them, and she does her best to find places where they can go that they'll be able to survive. And also, if they can't survive in the wild, she has a place for them as well. So, a lot of the deer that she has in the sanctuary are, you know, she has some that were imprinted. Uh, they imprinted on people who, found a fawn in the woods, and actually, uh, it actually managed to survive, which is great. But unfortunately, they didn't have the resources or the knowledge to raise it as a wild deer, and it imprinted on people. And it is really difficult. So, one of the things I'll be pointing out in the book is that you really, um, you really have to be able to raise the deer among other deer so that it will form a herd to be with when it's released. And see, most people, they only ever find the one fawn. But Connie brings in rescued fawn from all over upstate South Carolina. And um, she has a practice where, let me click this one up real quick. So she has a practice where every deer has a bed buddy. Now, they're not always in a carrier together. Um, Usually, she keeps uh, two or three or even four, I think. Two or three, usually, though, in a playpen. So, I want to do a picture of some deer in a playpen also, eventually. So, yeah, she has had her kitchen, her living room, her bedroom, everywhere in her house filled with deer playpens. And uh, in the past, but now thankfully she has a few barns on the property, and she's able to move some of them out of her house. Although she does still have to go camp outside with the deer whenever it's like a major holiday like the 4th of July, because Even baby deer that don't know any better do not like fireworks whatsoever. Okay, I'm going to try not to get too bogged down into sketching the debris at the end of the stick here. But I'm already kind of aware that one of my faults is that I get bogged down in the pixel by pixel. Goodness, I can't even talk. The pixel by pixel details, and then I never get done. Well, we need to get done. I would like to finish this book and have the entire thing finished by the end of the Kickstarter campaign so that I can set it up and send it out to be printed and get those copies in um, and shipped and delivered. The goal is sometime in November. But that really depends on how well the Kickstarter does. So as of right now, we're about a tenth of the way, and we have until I think July 7th to finish raising the print fund. And as a reward for chipping in, you can choose your pledge reward, um, including a copy of the book. Um, so you can get like just the ebook for $3. You can get the print book, which is what we're raising the money to do, is print the thing, which is 12 plus some shipping. Um, Shipping I have averaged at $7. Um, and the most popular tier to back so far is the book plus the art print. And the art print is a digital painting of Connie's hands on a patterned background that's 8.5 by 11 inches, but there's also a very fine line marking out where the 8 by 10 uh, mark is, so that you would be able to trim it to fit an 8 by 10 frame if that's what you have instead of an 8.5 by 11. Alright, let's zoom out of this and see how we're doing. Okay, I think this is enough detail on this particular stick. And, let's see. I should probably do something about this little pile of logs right here. And a little more on this riverbank. And then I'm going to have to come in here and do more to make the water stand out in the creek. But first, let me blend this part of the sand here below the stick. It's a very large stick. Let's see. This is just here to put some background color. So that the details on top of it aren't just floating in the nothingness. Hi, Star Storyteller. Yeah, I'm looking into how to do the light layer. Um, but going by this, I think instead of a greenish blue cast to the light, I think it's really going to be a greenish yellow. Um, Something about the way the light is in the ripples in the creek, it's making me think probably a greenish yellow. So if today I can finish this up, um, which I don't know if I can get this close enough to finished today, then I think that for tomorrow's art stream, I'll be able to do either a piebald or the deer in playpens. So I think for a couple of my reference pictures, I'm just gonna have to go take a look through Connie's uh, Instagram and see if I can pull a good screenshot. I did have some photos, at least, of the piebalds out in the sanctuary pen, but I hunted all over my computer and I can't find them, and I'm wondering if they were on a previous phone and didn't get backed up. Which that would be kind of sad. And would also make me wonder what else hasn't been backed up. I mean it. I have had the worst luck. I mean, I think one of the reasons why I'm so desperately tired is just because so much has just been happening. But life doesn't slow down. The only way this project's going to get done is if I work at it. And there's kind of nothing else to say. No, there goes the save. Okay. Alright, let's fit to the screen again. I think things are happening with it. It's getting somewhere. Right, and the next thing was this pile of blocks. Oh, how am I still on the eraser? some reason I am having a really hard time uh, sticking to the particular log that I'm working on here. Okay, I've got this one. Could actually put a little bit more black shadow in. This one is very definitely gray. Why could I not see that? And then this is a whole separate one up here. But for some reason when I have it up on the upper screen, I am losing them all. Okay. Trying this again. Alright, this was the gray one. So, on one hand, it's just a log. On the other hand, I think I did put some verbiage in the Kickstarter description that said that there would be uh, paintings drawn from the real life deer and the real life uh, land where the deer live. You know, Deerland and the sanctuary and even all those playpens. And I should maybe not take too many liberties with how that's represented. If I wanted to take shortcuts, I could have just taken a few photos and run an AI filter. Yeah, right. I'm never gonna do it. If I was gonna be satisfied with what AI does, there would be no reason for me to be an artist at all. For me to even do this project. I mean, while I may, most definitely, I'm absolutely confident, in fact, that I will make mistakes. I would rather make some honest mistakes than have the shortcut betray me. Hmm. So this might be all the ground. Let's see. Except I do need to put a little bit more texture on the sand and the the bank. So let's just prep the bank for a little bit more. Let's see, and we'll have, I need some kind of like a speckled brush to work with in this area. So there are a few places where roots are hanging down. Now where am I going to find a speckled brush? Now tone scraping, you would think it would work, but I think that the edges of it are a little hard and crunchy. So not the tone scraping tool. Running color spray has a little bit of potential. Oh, there goes the save again. But that's a little too soft. Playing Goldilocks with the thing now. And Droplet I'm already using for the leaves, and I don't think it will do quite the same thing that I want. Maybe in a few cases, like right around here. But before I do the lighter leaves that are showing up individually like that, I want to do the darker ones that come before it. And there's also a few little viney leaves and things. Anything in the decoration subtools? Not in vegetation. Not in flowers, not really. Now here it says small stone. It's somewhat speckly, especially at a distance, and is about what I would want. The only trouble with it is it's uh it's more cartoony than painted. So if I scatter that in here with the background color of them being the same color as the bank and just have some shadow from them showing, they'll blend in a good bit. The edges are still a little bit hard, but I think they work for a little bit of background texture. Let's see. What does sand cloud do? I think that does kind of give a grittier texture to the dirt along the bank. Alright, let's go find Droplet again and see if we can put uh, these lighter, wait, particle size, that's what I need to change. These lighter little bits of leaves and sketch them in. So you can see what I'm trying to represent right here. Alright, now I need to do these roots and vines that come out over the creek. Scoop this back up here. And since I am no longer doing a spray tool with this, I'm going to deselect that. When we went to Tennessee, we got to tour the Forbidden Caverns, and which is a funny sentence to say. They aren't that forbidden, are they? Um, and one of the caves we went into, actually, maybe a couple of them, but one of them, the tour guide pointed out that coming down from the ceiling, there are these fine little hairy roots, feeler roots from the trees above. And that was a point at which, if I remember correctly, we were like 200 feet under the surface. It's just amazing how resilient plants are. Those little roots searched their way down through 200 feet of dirt and rock and teeny little crevices. Just because that's what roots do. Persevering until they find water. And I guess it's not just water, they're also anchoring the tree down. Okay, thinking back on the sand cloud tool, that would be really appropriate for the bottom of the creek here. That would that would be a very good effect. So I'm going to go ahead and select the creek and not this tree that's going over in front of it. It's times like this, I really appreciate having this tablet that has a screen on it. I can actually see what I'm tracing. Alright, that's a little bit vivid. We can do vivid later on the next layer. Let's shrink this down a bit. Hmm. Is that shrunk down too far? Or did I just use it on too dark of a setting? Alright, that's looking better. And there goes the save again. Okay. That might be all I should do to it. Well, this bit needs to be darker. But yeah, that might be everything that I ought to be doing to it until after I get started on the light layer. Let's deselect it and see how things are going. The fingertip blur down here might be useful. And also across. So it's not really going to look a lot like water until after I get the highlight layer in there, but it's still coming close. If we can just use this blur to distort. The view of the sand underneath the surface. Okay, now I just got to remember everything I did back here and do that up here on this half of the creek. Oh wow. So select it down here. Oh, there's stuff floating on top of the creek here. So this has a little bit of an irregular shoreline. This goes up under these logs. A lot of this is going to be covered by more greenery in this section that I'm working on now. But that's no reason to be sloppy with it. And this comes up under the bank. There. Now, what on earth did I do? What did I start with? Who am I? What year is it? Okay. Um, Decoration, sand cloud. That needs to be a little bigger. Mm, I should change where I have this selected. Alright, stop that. Let's see. There's a little bit more sand underneath here. And then this goes under here. No. Yeah, it's a lot more like that. And I think that some of the reflection up here has a more greenish cast to it. So actually, I think the more greenish part includes this spot right here. So there, that can make that blend in a little better. Right now, the sand on the bank looks more like glass. With more odd reflections rather than shadows and ground texture showing. So I should select these. Let's not cover up my hard work on the foreground. Let's see if we can do some gritty sand textures next. I keep coming back to the airbrush. There is nothing for me here. If I have downloaded anything good for this, I lost it. Let's see. A lot of these in the hatching and friction and gauze are a bit hard. They're not ever going to be mistaken for uh, painting. Mm, that said, sand might work. If I can get that distributed. Hmm. I still don't know about the particle sizes here. Maybe it won't work. That is a lot more red than I expected it to be. That's a lot more green. Well, we've already had over an hour, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to finish this. Well, this scene tonight. I will eventually finish the entire book. But this is. Let's see how this one does. I mean, yeah, there's possibilities here. But, one of the things that I'm trying to do with this book, um, or well, with the Kickstarter, is I have already laid out uh, most of the expenses in getting a book printed and published. Um, Pretty much everything from the ISBN and the barcode and all the little admin stuff, and I'm going to be releasing it through uh, my self publishing endeavor, OtherRealm Studio. Um, so, and I'm also going to be doing all the illustrations myself and sourcing all the materials to create the rest of the book myself. And I've already invested a ton of time and work into it. And the only thing that I don't really know is how many copies I should print. And since I don't know that, I have set up the Kickstarter so that anyone who wants a printed copy of the book can go ahead and uh, pledge for it. Um, you know, your credit card will not be charged until the Kickstarter ends, and even that is only when the Kickstarter is successful, if it meets the entire funding goal. So I set the funding goal at $1,000 to be able to print the copies uh, that I'd need to fulfill the Kickstarter and have a few left over for Connie. So that's why I'm doing a Kickstarter, to make it so that the people who are really interested in the book can go ahead and get their copy first, or they'll be in line to get their copy first. And uh, hang on, I'm processing art and not words right this second. Give me a second. Um, So yeah, if you want a copy of the Magnolia Fawn book, uh, the best way to make sure that you get one is to go to the Kickstarter and just look at Kickstarter.com. You can search it under OtherRealm Studio, um, or Magnolia Fawn children's book, and you should be able to find it. Um, I do have a link on my main page of uh, YouTube. I've put several on my social media posts about this art stream, so wherever you heard about this, you can probably go back and look and find the link. I would put a clickable link on this here now, but I I don't have that much brain to devote to it while I'm also trying to draw. So yeah, if the Kickstarter is not successful, so if we don't get 30 or 50 backers or somewhere in between there, um, so about 50 people who just want the book, or about 30 people who want the book plus the art print, um, then I'm still going to create the book. I'm still going to finish drawing it. The only thing is, there's no telling when I'll be able to finish setting it up and actually print any copies. So if you think that, yeah, sure, you'll get it when, Connie has it set up at open house or at the Christmas fair, uh, that might be a few years unless this Kickstarter succeeds now. Just because I don't exactly have the resources to continue pouring into uh, working on this book. Um, I tried really hard to clear off the rest of my schedule so that I'd have some free time to work on this, and uh, that did not go well. Uh, I've just, there's been stuff going on. Like, if it's not one thing, it's another, and uh, I, uh, I had incorrectly saved some clients' work, and so I had tried to be finished with it before. Let me see, what am I working on? Okay, right here. So I had tried to finish a client's work before starting on the Kickstarter, and the schedule was going well. Things were working out until suddenly they were not, and I incorrectly saved it and I lost several months worth of work. So I still have that commission to do. I still have um, a few other smaller obligations than that, thankfully, because I was trying really hard not to schedule anything else at the same time as this Kickstarter. And I have my own other projects that um, for my book and my comic, and a lot of things that uh, a lot of fans of my book and my comic have been wanting me to finish up the sequel, and it's already been put off. So, this is the time I had set aside for running the Kickstarter, for getting the Magnolia Phone book done. And I was trying to get done with all my stuff, all my other obligations, and everything that I had promised. And since things didn't work out like that, the next best thing is to do my best to get the Magnolia Fallen children's book done, to do everything I can to have a successful Kickstarter, to work on it for about an hour or so every single night, um, so that it'll be ready, and hope for the best. Um, just trying to get it done in the time that I had originally allotted for it, so that I can get back to my other projects as soon as possible. So if the Kickstarter doesn't succeed, uh, there will still be a book. It just won't be printed. Not for not until I get all my other stuff done. Um, Honestly, I really wish that I had better news to say than that, because uh, I would love to say that no matter what, this book's going to get done. It's going to be printed. You can find it uh, at the next um, open house, or at the Christmas show that she's going to have probably in November. She's been doing those, and they've been, really successful, really awesome artists and crafters coming together to help out Magnolia Fallen Rescue with the fundraising and everything. And I would love to have the books ready to offer there, but um, yeah, I won't be able to do anything towards printing them without the Kickstarter at this time. Alright, there goes the save again. Alright. Um, yeah, so that's why I'm trying to get essentially pre orders, although Kickstarter kind of frowns on you saying that it's a pre-order campaign. Let me see. Particle size needs to reduce a bit since we're going off into the distance here. Right, and where was that lighter one? Wasn't that light. It was more like this. There's a few leaves floating on the surface of the water here. Alright. I have lost track of my thought again. Uh, let's see, what have I covered? Uh, Doing the Kickstarter, where to find the Kickstarter, why the Kickstarter. And I mean, I really do understand uh, why it just seems simpler to just buy it in person. When it becomes available, but that really only works for bigger publishers. When you have a small indie operation like mine, you've kind of there's there's no way you can take it for granted. There's no guarantee that I can get this printed like the same year that I'm working on it. I mean, it might just have to sit on the hard drive for a while. So, yeah, if you're interested in the book, let me know. Your support is always appreciated, and if you can't back the Kickstarter, I would greatly appreciate it if you would find the link and share it anyway. Maybe somebody will buy it for you as a gift. I mean, they will be signed copies, and that'll be cool. All right, where particle size again? A little bit less than the previous time. So I've got signed copies and an art print planned. And I also have some of my reverse paintings as add ons to the rewards. So if you would like a piece of original, actually painted physical media, then I have those as well. So yeah, I'd appreciate it if y'all would stop by the campaign, see what it's about, and help us raise the print funds so that Connie can have copies of her own. And we'll be able to share the stories of these awesome little deer for generations to come. This is this is going to be an amazing book. This is one of the best projects I've ever worked on. On one hand, of course I would say that because this is entirely the way I would do one. Although I have worked on some really good ones. Okay, we have been here a while. We're at over an hour and a half in. I'm still not ready to call this finished, although my water is starting to look more like water, and the sand is looking more like sand. Um, there's still more I want to do. I wanted to do that highlight layer. Do I stay here another 10 minutes and try and put that there? Mmm, decisions. Alright, let's throw a new layer. It needs to be just above the ground layer, but behind the greenery layer. Um, and let's see if I can select all the areas that are meant to be water. Alright, we'll just go behind this tree or in front of the tree and try not to hit it too much. Um, so I am sure that there is a way to select two places that are not connected at the same time, and unfortunately I do not know what it is yet. Have you seen all the controls and selections possible in Clip Studio Paint? And I'm self-taught here, y'all. I have a book, but it's already obsolete. And There's tutorials, but I hate watching tutorial videos. I'm sorry. I try so hard so many times. Um, let's do pale tone, somewhat green. Hmm. And let's call this layer a overlay. Right. So, being self-taught and I cannot concentrate on videos very well. Maybe a little bit more towards green. I still have not learned everything that Clip Studio Paint has. I've made a good attempt. Alright, but throwing in some highlights and the light across the water is not enough because this light is being filtered through all the trees in the forest. So what I need to do is go back over my highlighted areas and erase. Um, I think that's what I need to do. It just seemed a bit too hard. Let's try that with a softer one. And try to have the reflections of the tree trunks and branches interrupting the light. See, widen this a bit for this area. Okay, I know that the background music is off now, but I am a little bit scared that if I turn it back on, then I will get lost in doing this again and uh, take more than my extra 10 minutes that I was going to take. Alright, if I can use the running color spray to scatter clear across here, then that looks like the dapples of leaves. Okay, did I do it? Let's deselect and zoom out a little. Oh, that is very close. That's close to what I wanted. Right here where I did the blur effect, that needs to be made less obvious now. Not in the overlay layer. What, not in that layer either? Apparently leaving that on clear makes the blur clear, as in invisible, and nothing happens to it. There, we'll just blend that a little further. Okay, this will do it for tonight. I ran way longer than I expected to, but I guess that's good. So here's my reference picture again. Um, I have taken a few liberties with just how reflective the water is. But who knows, maybe it's just a different time of day. Alright, let's put this back up here. And if y'all go to the Magnolia Phone page on Facebook, or you can go to Kickstarter.com and find the Magnolia Phone children's book. We have 24 days to go as of the 12th. And, you know, give it a share, give it a like. The more people who see it, the better. Because surely, if enough people see it, surely there will be somewhere between 30 to 50 people who will each want to make sure that they get their copy. Um, Printed, signed, and mailed to their door sometime before Christmas this year, or in time for Christmas this year. And I would love for y'all to help me make that happen. So I'll be probably back here again. We're going to see if we can do the piebalds or the playpens, or possibly piebalds and playpens tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern. And yeah, that's everything. I'll see y'all later. Good night.